In 2025, the world is witnessing a surprising trend as some countries are taking drastic measures to reduce their immigrant populations. From bustling cities to serene countrysides, these nations are making headlines for their unexpected decisions to send immigrants packing. It's a topic that has sparked debates and raised eyebrows globally. As we delve into this list of 10 countries, we'll uncover the unique reasons behind their actions and what makes them stand out in this controversial movement. These countries have made it onto our list due to a mix of political, economic, and social factors. Some are tightening their borders due to economic pressures, while others are responding to political shifts or public sentiment. Each country has its own story, but they all share a common thread: a significant push to change their immigration policies. Whether it's new laws, increased deportations, or stricter asylum processes, these nations are reshaping their approach to immigration in ways that are both shocking and thought-provoking. Number 10. Pakistan. Pakistan has been a hub for Afghan refugees for decades, but recent developments have taken a surprising turn. As of October 2024, Pakistan was home to about 1.5 million Afghan refugees and asylum seekers, alongside another 1.5 million Afghans with various legal statuses. However, the Pakistani government has decided to ramp up its deportation efforts, citing security concerns as a primary reason. This move is part of the Illegal Foreigners Repatriation Plan, which has been criticized for violating international human rights laws, particularly the principle of non-refoulement. The plan threatens to deport over 800,000 Afghan Citizen Card (ACC) holders and 1.3 million Proof of Registration (POR) card holders, putting them at risk of persecution if returned to Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. The decision has sparked global outrage, with organizations like Amnesty International urging Pakistan to reverse its stance and protect the rights of refugees. The economic landscape in Pakistan also plays a role in this situation. With slow economic development, rapid population growth, and an overdependence on the textile industry, the country faces high unemployment rates and low wages. These factors contribute to emigration, as more than 450,000 Pakistanis left the country in search of better opportunities in 2024 alone. The main destinations for these migrants include Saudi Arabia, India, the UAE, the UK, and the US. Meanwhile, Pakistan continues to receive immigrants from politically unstable regions like Afghanistan and India, further complicating its immigration dynamics. Adding to the complexity, Pakistan's relationship with its neighbors influences its immigration policies. The shared genetics between Afghans, Pakistanis, and Indians highlight the deep-rooted connections in the region. Despite these ties, political tensions often dictate the movement of people across borders. The threat of deportation looms large for many Afghans in Pakistan, as officials warn of expulsion unless resettlement cases are swiftly processed. This precarious situation underscores the challenges faced by both refugees and the host country in navigating the intricate web of regional politics and humanitarian needs. Number 9. China. Turning our attention to China, the country has seen a significant increase in unauthorized immigration to the United States. In fiscal year 2024, encounters of Chinese nationals arriving without authorization at the U.S.-Mexico border surged to 38,200, up from just 2,200 in fiscal year 2022. This spike is attributed to a combination of social and economic challenges within China, including financial losses from strict zero-COVID policies and repression of free speech and religion. Many Chinese migrants are driven by a lack of economic opportunity and long waiting periods for green cards, prompting them to seek better prospects abroad. The journey to the U.S. is often facilitated by smugglers known as snakeheads, who guide migrants through irregular routes. Social media platforms like TikTok play a notable role in this process, offering tutorials on how to navigate the U.S.-Mexico border. Despite the risks, the allure of a better life continues to draw Chinese migrants to the United States, making them the third largest foreign-born group in the country. On the flip side, the U.S. has been actively deporting Chinese nationals as part of its immigration crackdown. Under the Trump administration, Expedited removal processes were expanded, allowing for faster deportations without judicial review. This approach has raised concerns about due process violations and the potential for mistaken deportations. The Biden administration has continued deportation flights to China, with increased cooperation from Chinese authorities. In 2024, ICE removed 517 Chinese nationals, reflecting ongoing diplomatic efforts to manage immigration between the two countries. China's stance on repatriation has evolved, with the government now more willing to accept deportees confirmed as Chinese nationals. This shift aligns with China's broader efforts to curb illegal immigration and maintain control over its population. However, the complexities of international relations and domestic policies continue to shape the experiences of Chinese migrants, both within and outside their homeland. Number 8. Spain. Spain has been at the center of Europe's migrant crisis, and it's not just because of its sunny beaches and delicious paella. In 2024, Spain saw a whopping 63,970 migrants enter its territory, marking a 12.5% increase from the previous year. The Canary Islands in particular have been overwhelmed, with over 43,000 men, women, and children landing there. This massive influx has put a strain on local resources, leading to a humanitarian crisis. The Spanish government has been scrambling to manage the situation, implementing policies like the redistribution of minors across the country. However, not everyone is on board with these measures. For instance, the Balearic Islands recently announced they would no longer participate in the redistribution scheme, highlighting the growing tension within Spain regarding immigration. But why are so many people choosing Spain as their destination? Well, it turns out that people smugglers see Spain as an easy target. The country's geographical location makes it a prime entry point for migrants from North and Sub-Saharan Africa. Unfortunately, this has led to tragic consequences, with increasing numbers of migrants and asylum seekers dying at sea while trying to reach Spanish shores. The Spanish government's efforts to coordinate the reception, relocation, and integration of these migrants have been criticized for being inadequate, further exacerbating the crisis. On top of all this, Spain's internal issues are also driving people away. New residency rules, uncertainty around healthcare, and a tightening job market have made life difficult for both locals and expats. What was once an ideal destination for expatriates has become a bureaucratic nightmare filled with red tape and cultural hurdles. These challenges have transformed Spain from a welcoming haven into a place where many feel unwelcome, prompting some to pack their bags and leave. Number 7. United Kingdom. Now let's hop over to the United Kingdom, where things are equally complicated. The UK has long been a popular destination for immigrants, but recent years have seen a shift in attitudes. The country's decision to leave the European Union, commonly known as Brexit, has had far-reaching implications for immigration policy. With new rules in place, the UK has tightened its borders, making it more challenging for immigrants to settle there. This has led to a significant decrease in the number of people moving to the UK, as well as an increase in deportations. One of the main reasons behind this change is the UK's focus on reducing net migration. The government has implemented strict measures to control the number of people entering the country, prioritizing skilled workers and those who can contribute to the economy. This has left many immigrants feeling unwelcome as they struggle to meet the new criteria. Additionally, the UK's immigration system has been criticized for being overly complex and difficult to navigate, leaving many in limbo as they try to secure their status. The impact of these changes has been felt across various sectors, particularly in industries that rely heavily on immigrant labor, such as healthcare and agriculture. With fewer immigrants available to fill these roles, the UK is facing labor shortages that could have long-term consequences for its economy. Despite these challenges, the government remains committed to its immigration policies, arguing that they are necessary to protect national interests and ensure the country's future prosperity. Number 6. Italy. Italy, known for its rich history and delicious pasta, is also making waves in 2025 for its tough stance on immigration. The country has been grappling with a high number of asylum seekers and irregular migrants, many of whom find themselves stuck due to the Dublin regulation. This regulation requires asylum seekers to stay in the first EU country they enter, often leaving them stranded in Italy. The Italian government has responded with stricter policies, like the Cutro Decree of 2023, which limits special protection permits and reduces services in reception centers. This decree came after a tragic shipwreck that claimed 94 lives, highlighting the urgent need for policy changes. The agricultural sector in Italy heavily relies on migrant workers, yet these workers often face exploitative conditions. Despite laws against such exploitation, enforcement remains weak, and many migrants work without proper authorization. The caporalato system, a network of illegal labor brokers, thrives due to the high demand for seasonal agricultural work. In 2025, Italy's Flussi decree allows only 93,550 seasonal workers from outside the EU, a number that barely scratches the surface of the country's labor needs. This paradox leaves many migrants vulnerable to abuse and exploitation as they struggle to secure legal residence and work authorization. Italy's immigration policies have become increasingly restrictive over the years. The Salvini Decree of 2018 reduced refugee reception centers and abolished certain humanitarian residence permits. Although some measures were revived in 2020, the pandemic further complicated matters for migrants. Many found themselves ineligible for government aid and faced barriers to accessing health and social services. As Italy continues to navigate its complex immigration landscape, the challenges for migrants remain significant. Number 5. France. France, the land of croissants and the Eiffel Tower, is also taking a hard line on immigration. In 2025, the French government has announced plans for a new immigration law, aiming to extend detention periods for undocumented migrants. This move comes amid rising concerns over immigration, fueled by far-right political parties using it as a wedge issue. In 2024, deportations of irregular migrants increased by nearly 27%, reflecting the country's tightening grip on migration controls. France's immigration policies are shaped by various factors, including family reunification and university studies, which were the main reasons for migration in 2023. However, economic migration has taken a back seat, with fewer residence permits issued for job-related reasons. Discrimination based on nationality, ethnic origin, or religion poses significant challenges for migrants, affecting their access to employment, housing, healthcare, and education. Language barriers further complicate integration efforts, as many migrants struggle to learn French. In response to these challenges, the French government is set to introduce new French proficiency rules by 2026, requiring applicants for certain residence permits to demonstrate at least an A2 level of French. This move aims to improve integration but also raises concerns about accessibility for non-French speakers. As France continues to refine its immigration policies, the balance between control and integration remains a delicate one. Number 4. Russia. Russia, the land of vodka, vast landscapes, and now, stringent migration regulations. In 2025, Russia has taken a hard stance on immigration, and it's not just about keeping warm during those harsh winters. The country has introduced new laws that make it easier for authorities to deport migrants, especially those from Central Asia. These changes have been described as very dangerous by activists, who warn that they could lead to indiscriminate targeting of migrants. Imagine being a migrant worker in Russia, where even a minor infraction like petty hooliganism could get you deported. It's like living on a tightrope where one wrong step could send you packing. The Russian economy, despite its need for labor, seems to be caught in a paradox. On one hand, there's a dire shortage of working-age men, exacerbated by the war in Ukraine and an exodus of skilled workers. On the other hand, the government is cracking down on illegal migrants who form a significant part of the workforce in low-skilled industries. It's a bit like trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much you pour in, it never seems to be enough. And let's not forget the political angle, where migrants are being used as pawns in a larger game of military manpower shortages. It's a complex web of economics, politics, and human rights, all tangled up in the icy grip of Russian bureaucracy. But why this sudden crackdown? Well, it seems that a terrorist attack in Moscow's Crocus City Hall, allegedly carried out by Tajik nationals, has fueled anti-migrant sentiment. The Kremlin, in its quest for national security, has decided to prioritize force generation over economic stability. It's a classic case of choosing between the devil and the deep blue sea. Migrants are now faced with a tough choice: leave the country or join the military. It's a decision that could change their lives forever, and not necessarily for the better. Number 3. Saudi Arabia. Now, let's shift our focus to Saudi Arabia, a country known for its oil wealth, desert landscapes, and strict immigration policies. In 2025, Saudi Arabia is making headlines for its tough stance on immigrants, particularly those from Yemen. The kingdom has been accused of forcing tens of thousands of Yemeni expatriates back home into a situation of poverty and war. It's a harsh reality for many who sought refuge in Saudi Arabia, only to find themselves caught in a bureaucratic nightmare. The reasons behind this mass deportation are multifaceted. For starters, Saudi Arabia has limited access to employment for immigrants, coupled with a lack of documentation and permits to work legally. It's like trying to navigate a maze with no map, frustrating and often futile. Moreover, the country is not a signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention, which means it has no formal obligations to accept or protect refugees. It's a stark contrast to the image of a welcoming oasis in the desert. Adding to the complexity is the issue of illegal entry and drug-related crimes, which the Saudi Interior Ministry has cited as reasons for deportation. The majority of those affected are Ethiopians, who find themselves caught in a cycle of legal limbo. It's a tough situation where the rules seem to change faster than the shifting sands of the Arabian desert. And let's not forget the internal displacements caused by natural disasters, like floods and wildfires, which have further strained the country's resources. It's a delicate balancing act, where the stakes are high and the consequences even higher. Number 2. Germany. Germany has always been a hot spot for immigrants, but things are changing in 2025. One of the main reasons people are being shown the door is due to the new asylum law. This year, Germany decided to cut welfare benefits for asylum seekers by 13 to 19 euros a month, depending on their age and family status. It's like getting a pay cut for just trying to survive. The government says it's all about budget cuts, but critics argue it's a way to make life harder for those seeking refuge. And let's not forget the bureaucracy. Many expats find it tough to navigate the German system, with its endless paperwork and strict rules. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Another reason folks are leaving, or being asked to leave, is the job market. While Germany is known for its strong economy, finding a job as an English speaker can be tricky. Many immigrants struggle with the language barrier, which makes it hard to integrate and find work. It's like being in a room full of people speaking a different language and trying to join the conversation. Plus, there's the ever-present threat of deportation. Between January and November 2024, Germany deported 18,380 people, a 20% increase from the previous year. That's a lot of people being sent back home, often for reasons like overstaying visas or not having the right paperwork. And then there's the political climate, the alternative for Germany. AfD party has been vocal about the costs of current asylum policies, claiming they run into the tens of billions. They want stricter controls and faster deportations, which adds to the pressure on immigrants. It's like living under a microscope, where every move is scrutinized. With 42% of people under 15 having a migration background, Germany is a melting pot, but the heat is definitely being turned up in 2025. Number 1. United States. Now let's hop over to the United States, where immigration has always been a hot-button issue. In 2025, the focus is on reducing net migration and cracking down on illegal immigration. The U.S. has seen a surge in international students in recent years, but now many are heading back home, contributing to a decline in net migration. It's like a revolving door, with people coming in for education and then leaving once they have got their degrees. The U.S. is also tightening visa restrictions, especially for skilled workers. The salary threshold for these visas has been increased, making it harder for foreign workers to qualify. It's like raising the bar in a high jump competition. Only the best can clear it. And let's not forget the crackdown on smuggling networks. The U.S. is taking a counterterrorism-style approach to disrupt these operations, focusing on small boat crossings and other illegal entry methods. It's a game of cat and mouse, with smugglers constantly finding new ways to sneak people in. Deportation is another big issue. The U.S. has been increasing returns, aiming to achieve the highest rate since 2018. This includes expanding detention capacity and negotiating returns agreements with other countries. It's a tough stance, but one that the government believes is necessary to maintain control over immigration. And while voluntary returns are encouraged, they're hard to measure, making it difficult to assess the success of these policies. It's like trying to count grains of sand on a beach. You know there are a lot, but getting an exact number is nearly impossible. As we wrap up this journey through the top 10 countries kicking out immigrants in 2025, it's clear that these nations are driven by a complex web of motivations. From economic challenges to political agendas, each has its reasons for making such bold moves. While the future remains uncertain, one thing is sure. These countries have left a mark on the global stage with their surprising stance on immigration. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments section down below, and turn on your notifications to know when next we upload. See you in our next video. Bye-bye.